Hey guys, this is Lee here, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about something really serious, and it's about a scam that's not only affecting our sailing community, but it could be affecting thousands of people around the world. I'm going to even shout out to financial YouTubers Graham Stephan and Andre Jick, because I know they're going to want their viewers to know about this scam because it deals with our money. So even if you don't get scammed or participate in the scam or lost all your money trying to buy Dogecoin hoping it's going to hit $1, I'm going to show you how the scam will affect you. I want to thank all the subscribers who subscribe to the channel, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and smash that like button. I really appreciate it. And now this is how the scam works. Now, since this is a sailing channel, some of you have actually looked on Facebook Marketplace or some other marketplace on the internet, and you found an item that looked pretty good and the price was very good. And the item can actually be brand new. So you go ahead and you put an order to buy it. Now, something like this could mean that you might buy a new Intensity Sail or something from Sunfish Direct. Now, the seller will collect your money and then go to the vendor. That could be someone like a legitimate vendor like Chris McClellan from Sunfish Direct or Jim Myers from Intensity Sales. These are real people. It also doesn't have to be a sailing company. There's been a lot of things like electronics, fishing reels, and a countless amount of other products that have been selling brand new items through these sellers with stolen credit cards. Now this seller gets the item drop shipped to the original buyer. And so the original buyer just gets the item and they're happy. They don't even know they've been scammed. Now, after the legitimate vendors sent out the items, what happens is when the credit card gets reported stolen, the credit card company goes back to the legitimate vendor and does what's called like a chargeback. And they take the money away from the vendor and they don't reimburse them the money. Now, these private vendors, now they get this chargeback from the credit card companies, meaning they don't get any money for the items that they shipped off, so they're losing their profit, they're losing their overhead, and now they don't even have the merchandise, so it's a double whammy. When I first heard about this scam in the sailing groups that I follow on Facebook, after some research, I found that this is not just local to sailing stuff. This could be fishing equipment, electronics, shoes, and countless other items that many people from across the board, and not just sailing communities, can be affected. Since the person who bought the item in the first place got it, and now they're happy, they got the item, but they don't realize that this item was actually stolen. So in essence, three parties are going to get scammed here. First, it's going to be the vendor. The vendor sent out their stuff, they didn't get their money. Second, it's the person's credit card who got stolen. And third, and this is what's going to affect you and me, we all are going to get affected by this. Now, this is how we're all going to get affected by this, even if you don't buy a single thing online. It's because if legitimate companies like Sunfish Direct, Vela Sales, Intensity Sales, The Dinghy Shop, and countless other companies, they're going to have to deal with the lost overhead, the lost merchandise, and they'll have no other choice but to increase their prices. Now, I know you know by just living every day that everything has been going up faster than since the 1970s. We don't need any more inflation that's being caused by the scam inflation. So I'm going to go over a couple of things that you can do to help stem this scam inflation. The first thing you want to do is look at the seller's profiles. These profiles generally are kind of fake. And if you click on just the round profile picture on the Facebook Marketplace, they usually have pictures that are repeated, they don't have a picture, or they might have a weird picture that just doesn't make sense. And sometimes their background photo, the bigger one, is either blank or it's just doesn't fit. It's something feels weird. So go with your gut about this. If it's a private sale, look at your Facebook profile. Do you have pictures that look like your seller's profiles? If you don't, then there's a red flag right there. So beware. The second thing you want to do is check out the item itself. If the item is brand new, that's one thing. But if the item is brand new and is being sold by other sellers, that's a red flag right there. Another thing to look at is they usually use the same picture over and over and over with different names of sellers. I don't even think these names of sellers exist really. They're probably like robots or some organized crime type of thing. But always be aware of the seller. Now, also be aware that if it's a brand new item and it's selling less than the legitimate vendor is going to sell, that's a red flag. Now, most of the time when someone sells something on Facebook Marketplace, it's a used item, lightly used or whatever. But if they're saying this is brand new items and they have multiple of them across different sellers, totally red flag. It shouldn't be less than that. If I had an item that I was going to sell brand new, I usually just have one. The third thing you want to look for to avoid this scam is to look at the descriptions. The descriptions usually read across the sellers again, the same old things. They're basically cut and copied and pasted right on their ad. So for instance, it'll give you some details that sound like either an Amazon ad or a catalog ad. So that's a red flag. Most of the time, people, when they put stuff up, it sounds like they're talking. But when the advertising description sounds exactly like a catalog, buyer beware, that's a red flag. Now, an important thing is, whenever you buy something online, you want to communicate with the seller. So don't be afraid to ask and message the seller. Ask them something like, how old is this item? Can I pick it up? Even if you didn't want to pick it up locally, see if you can pick it up locally and see what they say. I've done research and I messaged over 10 sellers and not one of them replied. Now, I've done a lot of transactions online privately and with companies. Every single legitimate transaction has someone on the other end and they'll answer your questions. Now, if they don't answer your questions, that is a red flag. That's a huge red flag. Do not buy that item. The fifth thing is, do not send people money. Do not send them money before you get the item unless you know it's a legitimate seller that you're dealing with. And legitimate sellers generally have websites. They will have one item that might be used. And who knows, they might be taking your credit card information and using it to Ponzi scheme another seller. I don't know that for a fact, but it can happen. And now the sixth thing to know is listen to your gut. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I know this is not your normal sailing video. I'm going to be coming out with some new sailing videos really soon, so keep an eye out on those. If you haven't already, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell, and then check out this video right here, and I'll see you on the water. So here's how the scam works. You have the shopper. The shopper looks for the item, and they found a new sale online, for instance. So they send the money and they order it through the seller. But the seller is a scammer. So the seller collects the buyer's money, places the order with the legit company using a stolen credit card. The store of the legit company ships the item to the shopper. Now the shopper's happy. However, a few days later, the credit card company issues a chargeback. So that means no money is going to the legitimate company. And now you have a sad business owner. And not for nothing, you also have a sad credit card owner because their credit card was stolen and they have to go through the stress.